Hi guys, welcome back to Chess the Matthew. So on this video, we will tackle about our opening system, which is the so-called 3-move system. So the 3-move system that we are talking about start with the move e4, d4, and knight c3. And after completing these 3 moves, then we will enter now into a system that we can actually use against all the probable defense of black. So our 3-move system always start with the move e4, and then for example on this position, if black plays e5, then we cannot play d4 immediately in this position because it will ruin our move orders to the 3-move system. So we should play here the move knight to c3, and then we follow up with the move d4. And then for example on this position, if again black plays the move knight c6, which has a clear intention to stop d4 because he has now knight and pawn controlling on the d4 square, but the white can still move the move d4. And then let's say for example if black capture that pawn, then we can post our knight on d5, which control a lot of vital squares against the enemy's camp. So here we shall see that knight f6 is the move on the last video, but we shall see another variation which start with the move bishop to c5. So the idea of bishop to c5 is to put some defense on the d4. So we shall see that there is now 2 defender on the d4 pawn versus the 1 attacker. And even though here the white can still move knight f3, putting some attack on the d4, but the number of attacks and defense is equal, so cannot again regain the pawn deficit. So here knight g7 is the move for black, and he cannot afford to play knight f6 because we can play immediately bishop to g5, pinning the f6 knight, and also trying to ruin the pawn structure of black on the f file. So here the move for white is to play bishop to c4, putting some defense on the d5 square and also vacating the f1 square so that the white can castle on the next move. But here if black capture that knight on d5, again the white can simply place e takes d5, although it opens up the e file that allows the black to play queen e7 to give check, but we can as white can simply put back our bishop to e2 to cover the check and allow us to play a castle on the next move. But here the black can put some pressure on the d5 by playing knight to b4. So we shall see that we cannot again put a defense on the d5 because our bishop is pinned. So we will sacrifice again another pawn and then play castle, and after for example knight takes to d5, although we have 2 pawn deficit, but our king is now on a safe square, and also we have some development, so still it compensates our pawn deficit on this position. So after knight takes d5, we play bishop to c4, a simple move, which is again to open the e file with an intention to play rook to e1 to pin down the queen black to the king. So if knight to b6, then we can simply play rook e1 and then winning the queen, or even though c6, again it is still both the same. So let's say for example if black plays knight to f6 with an intention to play knight to e4 after rook e1, but after knight to e4, again we have a nice little move for white, which is to play bishop takes f7, giving check. Because for example, if the king will capture this bishop on f7, then rook takes the knight. So the black here cannot capture that rook because there is a simple fork on g5. So here after this, then the white has a huge attacking chances on this position. So going back, even though after bishop takes f7, if the queen capture that bishop, then still there is a move which is to capture the knight first, and then the king has again two square to go, but if he plays here, then there is a bishop to g5, then after king to f8, there is rook f4. So let's say for example after bishop to 7, then there is still a bishop to g5, and after castling we can simply capture the bishop on e7 and having some material advantage, and also have an attacking chances on the king side. So going back from the simple and quiet move, which is to play bishop to c4, the black here was forced to play the move knight a3, giving back the material because of the said attacking team. If the knight will go somewhere, or he will defend the knight. So after knight a3, then white will capture, and after black recapture, then there is queen to a2. So on this position, although the material is equal because the black has 3 pawns for a piece, but still the difference on this position is the black's king is not yet on the safest square, so he was forced to castle on the king side. And then after c3, it was very clear that his pawn on a3 is overextended, and the white will try pick this pawn to have simple material advantage. So going back on this 3-move system against e5, and then knight c3, knight c6, d4. So here if black still capture that pawn, we have knight to d5, even though he will defend his d4, but still the team for white is to develop and then put his king into safety, so that white can go for a nice attack in the future after the king of white is on the safest square. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe.